So welcome everyone. Before we start, I've got a couple of people here that are hosts. I'll send you another email this afternoon, and it will have the link that you as a host and your two guests need to click and enter. That way, you'll have to do it before midnight tonight, and that way you can qualify for host rewards. If you don't have two people here, or you haven't got one person that wants to purchase, then you can't qualify as host rewards. That's how that works. I've got a Facebook group page for my Inner Circle members, and I've also got my Inner Circle platform that I've designed for my Thermomix customers, and that's got loads of information in there. If you have any trouble finding any of those, just reply to the email that I'm going to send you after this, and I will help you find them. So what's my job today? I think that what I have here is a whole lot of people that have either never seen a Thermomix before, or I've got people that have seen a Thermomix that aren't really sure what the difference is between the TM7 and previous models. So my job today, I think, is to show you the difference between them, answer any questions that you might have. The first thing that I wanted to sort of bring to people's attention was there's some common pain points with cooking, and I'm pretty sure most of us have these issues. Lack of time to prepare meals. If we're really busy, if we work, sometimes we just don't have the time to actually put thought into what we're going to cook. We tend to that way cook the same things over and over. That's one pain point that I believe people have. Too many dishes. It's funny, years ago I said to my bake club people, what's the worst thing about cooking? And I think probably 98% of them came back with doing the dishes. So that was really funny. For me, that's not an issue because I just throw everything in the dishwasher. Struggling with inspiration. So that's a main one. And that's even for me. I know people say, oh, it's all right for you. You're a chef. You know, you've always got lots of ideas. But sometimes we do need inspiration. Just flicking through cookie dough and things like that, for me, gives me inspiration to make new things or try something different. Sometimes people say that they feel overwhelmed having to do so much cooking all the time. They lack confidence in their cooking. Cookie dough and Thermomix is amazing for that. So many people have said to me, I cooked such and such the other day and I would never have thought I could cook that. I love to hear that people have got that confidence with cooking whatever Thermomix. Some people also say that they have difficulty in working out what's a healthy, balanced diet for their family. And people that have got food allergies, if you have a look at a packet of food that is a pre-made thing for people that have got food allergies, there's lots of stuff in there that we really don't need to have. If you were making it from scratch, you wouldn't have to have all those numbers, etc. And hey, the best bit is Thermomix makes cooking fun. Well, that's what I think anyway. I was so excited to get the TM7. My husband thought that was funny because being a chef, why are you excited? But yeah, it's just a fun thing to use. So how can the Thermomix help with these pain points? So first of all, you all probably know or may know that it combines chopping, mixing, sauteing, steaming all in one appliance. So you can actually cook a meal all in one without having to dirty other things. So instead of having 3 pots on the stove or a couple of pots on the stove and one in the oven, you can have it all in your Thermomix at once. Guided cooking is a game changer, I think, for people, like I said, that need inspiration or want to learn how to cook or want try things that are new. The guided cooking, just to be able to press next and it tell you what to do, is pretty amazing. Minimal cleanup, like I said. So the pre-clean mode, I think every time Thermomix has made a new model, the pre-clean mode has got better and better. For the TM7, I am using that a lot because I only have one bowl and blade. With my TM6, I had 4 bowls and blades, and they were nearly always in the dishwasher. But I'm finding with the TM7, because I've only got one, I'm using pre-clean a lot. And in 7 or 8 minutes, I can have the bowl cleaned and ready to use again. So I'm finding that so much better than having to put it in the dishwasher. And I never thought I would say this, because I always thought that if anything was living in my kitchen, it would have to go in the dishwasher. Otherwise, it wasn't allowed to live here. But this actually works really well. So the pre-clean mode is awesome. Endless inspirations. Cookie Dough. With Cookie Dough, I don't know if you have it or not, but if you look on the front page of Cookie Dough and scroll, that changes every couple of weeks, or at least once a month. For inspiration, scrolling down on that main page and having a look at new recipes, and scrolling sideways as well, you can find new inspiration all the time. So for me, I don't purchase magazines. Cookie Dough is like a magazine for me, because I don't want to see the ads. I want to see the recipes, and that's what it's all about. So recipes, and Cookie Dough now has tutorials and so on. So there's so much more in Cookie Dough than what there ever was before. So yes, it boosts confidence with step-by-step cooking. It takes the guesswork out of everything and makes it much easier. You can cook healthy meals from scratch much easier. And even for picky eaters, you can find recipes that you can adapt. So with Cookie Dough, you can take a recipe that's on there and say, well, one thing that I come across a lot is I use chicken thigh fillets, and I know people that don't like chicken thigh fillets and they prefer to use chicken breast. So you can take a Cookie Dough recipe that says use chicken thigh fillets, and you can save it to your collection and change out that ingredient. So you can adapt any Cookie Dough recipe to suit yourself or suit your family's needs. And that's really great as well, so that you can repeat that recipe without having to think about it. The other thing is it reduces waste and saves so much money. We don't buy takeaway very often, and every so often we'll buy it. Maybe once a year we buy takeaway, and I'm shocked at how much it costs to actually buy a takeaway meal. I remember it was probably about 8 months ago, but we went to our kids' place and said that we would bring takeaway on the way round. We bought Thai food, and it cost us $75 for 4 of us, which really shocked me, because I thought, God, I could have made that for 25. So, but anyway, takeaway, it's a huge change with saving money. Oh, look, and I've got a typo here. It's a lot more fun to coo with Thermomix. So that should say cook with Thermomix. All right. Okay, so the differences between the TM6 or previous models and the TM7, the first thing you'll notice is that huge screen, and it is massive. It's 10-inch. It's like having a little iPad on your bench, which is great, because the landscape view and what you can see on the screen is more at your fingertips, if you like. So rather than having just a little bit of information, you can have more space. It just seems more easy to use, and you can find things easier. There's more things on one screen. You'll see me make a mushroom risotto shortly, so you'll see what I mean. The screen is way more responsive. It's a lot quicker than the previous models. This screen is fast. Same with the arms, the locking arms. Thermomix bowl and blade, the lid does not lock until it goes over speed 2. So you can take the lid off and on whenever you like, where before you had to wait for those arms to unlock and then relock, and that used to drive me insane. I think maybe because I came from TM31 days and working in a commercial kitchen where you just had to quickly rip the lid off and put things in and put it back on. The TM7 is much faster. Now have step-by-step videos and tutorials on your screen. So when you're standing in front of your Thermomix, there's a lot more tutorials on there if you wish to look at them, which is great. With your TM7, you don't get a separate cookbook. What they found was a lot of people weren't even opening that cookbook. They were thinking it was more like a manual. So now what they've done is they've added 200 recipes into your your Thermomix. So when you turn it on, there are 200 recipes there, whether you're on Wi-Fi or not. And everything is digital. So your cookbook is digitally on your TM7, but you can also access it on Cookie-Doo on any device. So your phone, iPad, laptop, whatever you like. So I think that's probably more in keeping with today. People tend to pick up their iPad rather than pick up a big heavy book. Open cooking mode. There's open cooking mode, and there's also browning and steaming. So they've changed the word from aroma to steaming. The browning mode I'm using heaps. What else is different? So quieter. Wow, it is so quiet that sometimes I'm thinking it's not even on. The only time you hear it is when you're at really high speeds and you've got things in like you're, grating things like parmesan or chickpeas. Chickpeas is still really loud. But things like if you're cooking risotto, you don't hear it unless the rice is hitting the sides of the walls of the thing. You don't hear the motor at all. And like I said, I've had to get up sometimes from my desk and go, is that actually turned on? Because I can't hear it. You can personalize your home screen now. Yesterday, I did a video showing people how to personalize their home screen, which I think is an awesome idea. When you turn your Thermomix on, it's ready for you the way you want to use it. There's a bigger varoma, and the spatula is improved. It's longer and much easier to use. It's safer because it's cool to the touch. So if you've got kids, like I've got a 13-year-old grandson who cooks a lot, when he's here, he can actually pick up the sides of the bowl, put his hands on the bowl, and it's cold when you're cooking. So that's really cool. I don't have to keep an eye on him as much. The platform that the TM7 uses, so the hardware is ready for AI. We've been told that there'll be voice control and heaps more updates. So just like they did with the TM6, they'll be downloading new software to your hardware as time goes on. And there's me. So if you purchase a Thermomix from me, you get me as your consultant. I have an inner circle on my blog. So that's a place where I have a whole lot of lessons for you, and you can interact with me in the comments. And I also have my Facebook group page, which is for my inner circle members. So only inner circle members can get in there. Although I do have another page as well that anyone can join, and I'm happy to answer anyone's questions. What I do tend to do is I prefer, if you've got another consultant, I don't want to step on their toes. If you can't get in touch with your consultant, I'm happy to answer anyone's questions. But yeah, like I said, it's probably best if you stick with your consultant. Enough of me talking. Want to see me make some risottos? I've broken this demo up into steps. So what I've done is I've videoed this and I've recorded it so I can hone in on things. So here's my mushroom risotto. I'm going to play that. I am going to make mushroom risotto. Now you've seen this probably before and maybe made it yourself, but not in a TM7. The ingredients are here. So the ingredients stay the same. The method is going to be different. But I just want to show you the ingredients first, and then we'll come over here. That's what I said. All right, mushroom risotto. So let's go. Nice big screen here. Okay, so this is the recipe for the TM7. So I just want to show you the full screen first. First of all, you'll notice that the ingredients are down here, just like they were before. Up the top here, there are a list of things. So you can go straight to ingredients, straight to preparation, straight to tips, and there is more. Let's go back though, and you can also scroll. So scrolling down, we will see that this is for the TM7. Things that that are useful to have as well. Your ingredient list is here. You've got your preparation steps are also there. You have tips, and there's a few more things now you can actually put in your notes. So right here, while you're thinking about it, you can press this little pencil icon, write whatever notes you want in there, and save it. And these notes are for you and you alone. No one else sees them.
Scrolling down, you've got, these are your hashtags. So this recipe is under these labels in Cookie Do. So you can find them under vegetarian, nut-free, Italian, autumn, winter, everyday, and video. You can also find them in these collections. So these are your little recipe ebooks, if you like. It has the nutrition label there, and say if you're making this and you want to add something to it, if you like this recipe, maybe you'd like to make these things as well. And that's it. So we're going to go back to overview.
All right, so let's talk about what is different on that screen compared to the previous models. So first of all, everything's at your fingertips. So as you saw on that front screen, you can scroll down and go to anything you want to, or tap the icons at the top where it says, you know, ingredients, methods, so on and so forth. And you just go straight there. That's all at your fingertips. Okay, the ability to add notes. So in there, you could add a note. So say if you thought something wasn't quite right and you wanted to change an ingredient, or, you know, when so-and-so, like when Julie comes around, she's gluten-free, so let's put this in. So you could write a note in there, and then every time you open that recipe, that note will be in there for you. Scroll on the front screen as you could before, or top of the screen, like I said. It's much quicker and easier to find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for ingredients, all you need to do is tap on the ingredients at the top and it just goes straight there. So that's a really good one. One thing that I like that the other models didn't have is it tells you where this recipe was written. So the country of origin. So if you go to that recipe and you click on it and it says, I know that if you go to the US, it's in ounces, but the other thing that I find with American recipes is they're usually a lot sweeter than what us Aussies like to have. If it has the country of origin, it could be a clue for me to say, look, this might be sweeter than what we would normally have. The nutrition label, for those that understand all that sort of thing, not me, I'm a chef, not a nutritionist, but that's really cool that it's on there. And at the bottom of the screen where I showed you, it has other recipes, the thing that's a bit like Netflix. So your Cookie Do subscription starts to learn what you like. So as you use your Cookie Do subscription and make recipes, it will start to learn. And at the bottom of those recipes, it'll say, look, if you like mushroom risotto, you might like these things here. So it gives you some ideas, and you can bookmark them or save them to another day. Or it might be like if you've got a risotto, it might have a crusty bread to make with it, or it might have a focaccia to make with it, or something like that. Let's go on with the recipe now, and we'll start making it in the TM7.
Start the recipe. So click start now for the Thermomix. Now you'll notice on the screen now that there is a bowl and it says 0 and there's no lid on it. But move back a bit so you can see. Once you put the lid on, you will see that now on the screen the lid is on, and it's telling us to take the lid off because we want to put Parmesan cheese in. So I'm going to take that back off. And when you take the lid off, it knows that it was the lid and it goes back to 0, so you don't have to tear. Okay, so I'm going to put my Parmesan in. So 40 grams of Parmesan. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's 50. So I'm just going to take out, because I want to show you what happens if you get it right. 40 grams of Parmesan. Oh, look, it actually does this and ticks it for you. You can tick it yourself. So if you decided to leave that at 50 grams, because hey, Parmesan cheese, who wouldn't? You could actually leave that at 50 grams and tick it yourself to say that that's in. All right, next step is We want to grate this for 10 seconds at speed 10. So I'm popping the lid on now, just pushing it down. And you can see now that, noticing that the lid is there, and all we have to do is push this. Now this is going to be loud. I'm going to stop that. Taking my lid off, and you'll see this happen. Alright, and that's it grated inside. I'm going to now, have a look at the bowl here. It's telling you to put this into a bowl. I'm setting this aside. If you go on to the next step and start caramelizing in here now, you'll find that the cheese will stick a bit. So that's why it tells you to clean it. But I don't clean it. I use, other than wash my bowl at this stage and dry it, I grab a pastry brush and I clean it out. If your bowl was dry to start off with, your parmesan will come out at this stage if you brush it out. So pastry brush is handy to have. And I think that's much easier than having to clean out the whole bowl. All right, let's go next. So this is where it's saying clean and dry the mixing bowl. Well, let's pretend we've done that. Now, echallots. So you need 30 grams of those.
All right, so let's talk about what we saw that was different in the TM7 with that. So the TM7 recognizes when the lid is in place. Now, you'll see that if you put the lid on, when you push it down, it does actually recognize that it's on properly. So make sure if you put your lid on that you don't have it sitting sideways before you press start. You've got to make sure you push it down. It's pretty solid. I know when you first get it and you think, oh, this is expensive, I don't want to push it around too much, but it's pretty solid. So just put it down and push it in place. Yeah, so if you are weighing something, when you weigh just on the weight that the Thermomix is telling you to use, or you go slightly over, it will tear it for you. So it will recognize that you've got the right amount of ingredient in there, and it will tick it off and say that it's done it for you. But don't think you have to get it exactly right. If you want to go slightly less or slightly more, you can tick it yourself and just say, I've done it. It doesn't need to be ticked at all, really. It's just there to give you an idea of what you're up to. I know when we used to do our bake club classes, with not having things written on the screen before, sometimes people would miss things. Now, having that tick there would actually solve that problem, because Thermomix sort of teaches you that you don't need to get all your ingredients out and weighed before you start. It sort of teaches you that you can do it as you go, which is much faster. Having to tick them off will say to you, I've done that step, or I've done that weight. I can just keep going. So that's a really good one. Grating Parmesan's still really loud. As I said, anything really hard inside your Thermomix bowl is still going to be loud. But when they say your Thermomix is silent, when it's cooking, it really is quiet. Under speed 2, very quiet. So you can adapt the method to suit yourself. For instance, when I cleaned out my bowl, rather than when the Thermomix told me that I had to wash and dry my bowl, I went, well, that takes too long. So I'm just going to get my pastry brush. I'm just going to brush it out. And then I'm going to say, yes, I've done it, and continue on with my recipe.
Okay, so let's get on with the recipe. It's telling me to put 40 grams of cold butter and 40 grams of olive oil. So this and this. So 40 grams of butter. There we go. So that's marking that off for us because we're really close to 40 grams. And then I'm going to now, it tears for you because it knows it got there. And we are going to go to our olive oil. Uh, 1 gram short. Oh, 40 grams. There you go. All right. So as I said, we could have actually ticked this if we wanted to, but letting it do that for you, it's pretty cool. All right, now we're going to cook for 3 minutes, 120 degrees, and it's going to go speed 1, which is, you know, just like it used to be. It's set for you. All you need to do is press the start button. Now, we'll just leave this go for a little minute. We'll come back and I'll show you how it is cooking through the top. I want to show you how you can take the lid off and what happens when you do that. So you can see down here, there's a little lock on the screen, if you can see that. It is actually unlocked at the moment. So that means we can take the lid off. It's at speed 1. And at speed 1, we're allowed to take the lid off, and I'll show you what happens when you do that. You take the lid off and it immediately stops cooking, and you can check, stir, throw more things in, and then put the lid back on. So clever, it starts all back up again. So lid's not locked, so you can take it off. It will pause. As soon as you put the lid back on, it recognizes the lid is there and it starts the program going again. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Next, that shuts it up as well. So it's telling us, take the lid off. Oh, just watch the drips. And then we're going to add 320 grams of risotto rice. Look at that, too clever. Too clever. All right, next. We're going to saute this for 3 minutes, and it's, look, 160 degrees, and it's telling us that it's going to do a gentle saute at 160. We're going to press start now and let it go. So it started mixing and then it stopped. It's so quiet, it's cooking now. You can see the timer going down. So it's got to be cooking. It's 3 minutes, 160 on gentle saute. This is actually cooking, but every so often it is stirring for you. So you don't have to worry about stirring. Before, that would have been constantly moving. So this is actually better for us because it's not constantly stirring. Now, there it goes. So can you hear that now? And then it stops. So cooking the whole time, stirring every so often. Okay, let's go next. All right, so now we're going to add some dry white wine. Take the lid off and it's tearing for you automatically. Now, I think I might have more than 60 grams of wine here. We'll see. Or maybe not enough. So I'm going to go 55 grams. Evaporation overnight in the fridge. So I'm going to tick this and say, look, I've done it. Next, 2 minutes, 160, gentle again. So this will do the same thing, I'm guessing. It will cook and stir occasionally. So starting off stirring to make sure that that rice is all stirred in. Now it's cooking. It's stopped stirring because you can't hear anything at all. And it will continue on. A few seconds left. I just want to show you that you can scroll here and you can scroll to see the next steps while it's still cooking. So now it's telling me that we're up to this next step. So to go back to the current step is you just click that little mark there. Okay, so now we need to transfer this out into a thermal mixing bowl. And this just looks exactly like it used to. This will need to sit in the thermal bowl for a little while. Let me bring it over because we have to let the rice absorb the liquid. So I'm going to pour this in here. This is actually my TM31 bowl, but look, it's still right size, thank goodness. I've got to get used to just scraping round instead of doing that weird movement we used to have to do. So now we just scrape that out. And I'm going to put a little bit of Parmesan on here now. And then I'm going to put the lid on, and that's it. So we leave that for a few minutes for the rice to absorb, and it will be beautiful.
All right. So let's have a look at what the differences are with that last little bit. As I explained before, the lid locks down after you go to over speed 2, but it's really fast. So it unlocks and locks really quickly, much faster than the arms used to. When the Thermomix instructs you to remove the lid, it will automatically tear for you. The other thing that I've noticed, that if the Thermomix says you need 60 grams of something and you put 59 in, it won't tear for you until you put 60. But if you go slightly over 60, it will tear for you. But like I said, you can always tap the screen and tap and say that you've done it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So when cooking at high heat, the blades will stop and start, and the only sound you'll hear for things like what we've just cooked is the rice moving in the bowl or the sizzle of the high heat. People that have not had a TM6 may not have experienced that before, but at high heat, 160 degrees, you can hear things sizzling inside your pot, which is good. And even with high heat, if your blades aren't going higher than speed 2, you can still take the lid off. So there's a new mode, which is browning mode, which is 160 degrees. And instead of having to find a recipe that goes to that temperature, now you can just tap on browning and start that mode. Much better. You don't have to worry about, exactly the right weight and all that, and the time and all that sort of stuff. So high heat, you can take the lid off and on and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, you can scroll the screen to see future or past steps so that you can get things ready for the next step if you want to, which is good. And you can see all the steps on the screen rather than having to go next, 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 next. You can just scroll, and then at the bottom of the screen, it'll have a little button that comes up that says take me back to the step I'm up to, and you can automatically just tap that and it will go straight back to it for you. The next thing is pre-clean. So as I was saying earlier, I believe the pre-clean has got better every time they've made a new version of Thermomix. I'm just going to show a quick video of the pre-clean function of me cleaning this risotto to thicken, and that's finished. Now I'm actually going to go and clean my bowl. I put a litre of water in. Sorry, this is awkward for me to reach where I've got this set up with the camera. Putting the lid on. I'm going home, pre-clean, because this is the way I've chosen to set mine up, which I will talk to you about when you get your Thermomix. And I'm going to actually go to browning. It's not browned, but I'm going to clean it good and proper and give it 14 minutes cleaning. Lid's locked. Can't take the lid off now because in a minute it'll be going at a speed. So it's cold right now. It's got a green light here, and it will change color as we go. And that's it. Done and dusted. Dinner. I think, like I said, the cleaning mode is better than what it has been in the past. A few people, and yesterday I showed this little video, but a few people have asked today about how to remove the bowl and blades from the new system. So I've got a little short video here to show you how all that works. All right, so let's have a look at the bowl. So we have now the cap, which sits on here. To put this on, if you just put it straight on, it's going to not be straight. You have to twist, which is pretty easy to do. It's just the best way to do it. Then the lid, this is like magnetic that sits on here. You turn it around to the front so you can see. So it sort of wants to sit down. When your Thermomix is working and the blades are going, there's a locking mechanism that happens in here. It doesn't just rely on the magnet.
So when they say a magnetic lid, don't think it's just a magnet, it's more than that. Okay, so now let's have a look at this down here. So this is where you take out your Thermomix blades. All you need to do is turn that and the blades just come straight out. So much easier than the older fashioned ones. This blade is actually the same as the TM6. So they haven't changed that. So if you have a TM6, you won't get these mixed up. It can actually sit in there as well. And then to lock it back into place, you just close it up. Okay, so that's pretty easy to do. Now you can't take this out unless you've unlocked it. And then you'll be able to take that out and wash that. Okay, so I've stopped the recording here because we've got people asking questions and it shows their images and I like people to have their cameras turned on. So if you have any questions, please just write in the comments below and I'll answer you.